There are altars on the retirement adventure, altars and behaviors that can transform your life and make retirement a holy adventure. The story of Abraham and Sarah has become more meaningful to me now that I'm retired. I wrote the book, The Jubilee Years, Embracing Clergy Retirement, as a guidepost for clergy considering retirement or recently retired. Now I'm retired and have been so for 3 months, and I'm creating a new life in a new city, in a new home with new possibilities. Late in life, Abraham and Sarah were called to adventure. Like me, they left the familiar. I suspect they had a lot of conversations and took stock of their assets. I suspect they pondered the gains and losses of retirement, of uprooting and sojourning to a promised land. One thing that catches my attention in the story is that wherever they stop, they build an altar, a way to remind themselves that God is with them. That wherever they are on life's journey, God is their companion. That God will guide their steps, challenging, inspiring, and also reassuring them. They build altars of the Spirit. And to me, creating altars of spiritual formation is essential to the Jubilee years, to a joyful retirement. Practices and rituals, habits that awaken us to God's companionship and our agency in an unfamiliar land. What are your altars of retirement? What is the spiritual tie that binds your days and gives you meaning and gives you a sense that God loves you, you matter, and you can still do something great, even though you're retired? In many ways, my altars are an elaboration of what was most spiritually and intellectually fruitful throughout my life. You don't have to start new altars, and you certainly shouldn't jettison the ones that have worked throughout your life. For me, my altars are a sacred space in our home, an arts and crafts chair where I meditate daily and write. Morning and afternoon contemplative prayer and self-Reiki, devotional and theological writing and reading, my pre-dawn walk and later my walk with the dog, and often going out to the Potomac with my wife, Kate, creative writing and study, reaching out to friends, mostly by phone, whose relationships nurture my spirit, practicing gratitude regularly, being thankful for what I have, for my health, for my largesse, for my ability to be generous, for my grandchildren, for my home, and so many other things. Being a good ancestor as I help to nurture my 2 grandchildren. And looking for ways to be earthly good, to make a difference in healing the world. You may have your own altars. As I talk to many pastors along the way, for some it's an early morning run and walk like myself, or coffee on a regular basis with a friend, or spiritual direction. For some it's gardening, or daily prayer times, or reading the Bible each day. What are your altars, your spiritual guideposts for retirement? These altars make and provide a framework for possibilities and give a sense of order and direction as we travel in unfamiliar territory, as we deal with the loss of our former professional identity and quest for new identity and ways to serve. These altars enable us to experience God's presence in a changing world and discover that God is our companion every step of the way.